Good morning, everyone, and here we go. Now, I've had a few kind of topics I've been kind of bubbling away in the background that I've had to basically wait to mature, and we get to that stage where I can come on and talk about it and show you some examples of things to try and achieve, things to avoid, whatever. So I'm just going to kind of go through them one by one, okay? So the first thing I want to touch on is, what I'm going to refer to in this video is like doubling down or buying down on somebody, okay? So as you'll know, we had a bunch of Pepe, okay? So we've held Pepe since like April last year, and it was just really boring. As you can see here, the graph was really tight. That's a 3-month graph, 264 to 2. It says 88 is the high, but really ignore that. It's 280 really, so he's fluctuating between those levels and then dipping down between 264 and like 272 a few times. And it wasn't really going anywhere. The Liverpool move was getting mooted, and then no, it's not. Leon are full of it, and Liverpool are full of it, and whatever. And then it came out, it looked like Napoli were going to be taking him on. And that's when his price really fell off a cliff, because Ancelotti came out saying he'd met his representatives, okay? Now, Lille, and throughout the whole saga, had said that we've agreed deals with like 4 clubs. It's all about, we're accepting offers. They said that before the season ended last year, we are selling Pepe. This is his price, come and get him, kind of thing. So with his price dropping off the back of the Ancelotti thing, it really struck me as like an Operation Coleman type situation. If you don't know what I'm referring to, there's a video we did a few months ago called Operation Coleman. It's in the terminology, or it's a playlist I've got, it's called something like that anyway, and you'll find the video there. But in actual fact, what's actually happened last night is we had a bit of an Operation Coleman. He's got a bit of an injury and he's dropped off in price. The injury doesn't look as bad as first suspected, so go watch the Operation Coleman video and then have a look at what's happened over the last 24 hours, and there might be an opportunity there for you. But anyway, with Pepe, we've seen the same shades of that happening. There wasn't anything concrete. It was just Ancelotti saying we've spoke to his people. Of course, I spoke to his people, And what I then had to weigh up, and what you would then have to weigh up in that kind of situation, is worst case scenario on paper. He goes to Napoli, okay? Napoli, in my opinion, are the strongest they've ever been to go on and try and win the Scudetto this year. And I'm not going to get into that in too much detail right now, but Serie A as a whole is fairly wide open now that Sarri's in at Juventus. Juventus could still run away with it. I think we would all expect them to, but if there's ever been a year they're going to slip up, it's going to be this year, So with Pepe potentially going to Napoli, Champions League football, doing well at the top end of a division, his price dropped down. I seen him at 258. That's when we picked him up, right? So we had him at 260. We had 30 of him at 262. We bought an additional 30 at 258, which brought our average price to 260 for 60 shares, okay? Now what that's done, and what the opportunity we've seized on there, is getting fresh shares that are eligible for IPDs, okay, at a price where we weren't really too concerned of it being at, for the simple reason that worst case scenario would only take something like 8 weeks to cycle through before people would probably jump back on him. He'd be scoring goals, Napoli would be looking hot, whatever, in my opinion. And in the best case scenario, a Premier League move did transpire, and hey ho, brilliant, he's popped up to 285, 281, we've got some dividends out of him, and we've then sold 30 of him. Okay, so because we've bought 30 of them, they're eligible for IPDs. We've then sold we've sold 30. So as far as Football Index is concerned, we have 30 shares that are only like a week old or whatever. So we've now got IPD capability, and we've earned like double the dividends. We've had 60 shares of them for that period of time. So we've earned in total from them 7.44, 90 pence of them are goals last season. So about £6.50 in dividends. We've then sold 30 of them at roughly 8% profit, and we now have a fresh 30 Pepe who we can go on and do IPDs with for the remaining month, okay? And that is a buying strategy, a chain of events that you will probably look to achieve 2 or 3 times a season with a player that you're going to hold all season long. You're looking for little opportunities to buy them lower than what they should be, and then flip them round when they regain market value as it should be. Okay, so buying down, doubling down, call it whatever you want, okay? So it's a lovely, perfect example there of how to do that. We almost had a similar thing with Bale, with a big China drop-off and recovery, kind of thing. So there's opportunities like this all the time, guys, but you're mainly going to notice the ones that you're going to be involved in yourself, okay? Now, the fantasy football stuff. We have bought some players. We have brought in Gomez, we have brought in Muller, we have brought in Munayer, and we have brought in Dubois. Okay, now, as you know, we had everything diarised. I'll just show you the squad since it's here. We had everything diarised, all these transactions. The Dubois one, to be honest with you, I recorded this video earlier, and then I thought, I really need a Lyon player in here, just with ouch, just with the amount of single match days that they've got, and we went back through them, and if we'd really done that last night, I didn't want to sell De Ligt, but we've lost £12 on De Ligt, so we need Dubois to raise in 12 pence to regain the De Ligt money, and then go on and above that. And if you watch the market today, this is what really made me pull the trigger on him. All the increases today that I'm noticing, Denayer there at Lyon, and you'll see a bunch of Thiago Mendes, you'll see a bunch of Lyon players popping up today. Who's the other one? I've seen Terrier moving, I've seen Depay, obviously we all know about, but the thing with Lyon is they've got 3 single match days this month, and if you're able to get them for the full month, they could be a really hot team to have a player in. We've went and done our research, and you can do the same. Why I've picked Dubois, it's not really rocket science. But so that was a kind of last minute purchase that we hadn't totally. I've basically just weighed it up, and that's the maths there for De Ligt, so we're minus £12.61 on him. So we need Dubois to basically raise in 13 pence to break us even, and then a further pence to clear the commission on him. So we need 14 pence of movement on Dubois, and had we planned that out properly, we would have bought him at the stroke of midnight last night. We'd have got him at 49 pence, and we would be halfway to achieving that already. So I'm kind of kicking myself that I never really gave Lyon all the attention. I knew that they were eligible for these match days, obviously, because I've been studying the calendar pretty tightly, but my main thought process was going into Terrier, Cornet, Guiri, Bertrand Traore, Dembele, Depay, all these guys. I'm just trying to work out who's going to play. For me, in the strategy and the allocation money I've got, if you like, across my strikers there, with the exception of Pepe, if you look at the money I've got, it's not a lot. I've got £50 in Gomez and basically £50 in Muller, and to have £50 of Depay and Dembele, it didn't really excite me too much. So I was looking for a Terrier or a Cornet or something, but I've got little guarantee that they'll make appearances at this stage. So I'm looking for solid holds that I know will play. And then it just kind of dawned on me, I'm still sitting on De Ligt. He's down quite greatly. Can I flip that money somewhere else, make the money back, make profit, and then come back and get him at basically the price he's at now? So that's what we're looking to do with Dubois, or maybe even with some, but the Dubois money's going to do that for us. If we make profit on our defender, whether it be Munayer or Trippier, we might go and do that, get back on De Ligt when Serie A kicks off and try and get him the kind of prices at now. But everything's been diarised, guys, okay? So again, like I showed you in a video previously, we have set the stall out. We know when. We've bought Dubois today, so we can add him into the 31st. Add event Dubois. Cool. So these are all the purple ones are the IPD expiration date. So the last day of IPDs for each of these holds, and we've got everything else. The yellow stuff is work stuff, and I've got the dentist booked in there for Monday. But otherwise it's all football index stuff. And again, going into September, we have purchases and different milestones kind of highlighted on the diary, and that will develop as time progresses. But if we look at the purchases, we had to jump on Muller a bit earlier than we had planned because he scored that hat-trick when he was at 55 pence, and we knew the market was distracted by the market announcement, and we had a bit of time to get on him. But so we got him at 57 pence, and we forfeited a match day because of that, which I'm not too happy about. But I'd have liked to have, if he didn't score that hat-trick, I'd have been buzzing, because I'd have got him when we wanted him at the price we wanted him. And then Maxi Gomez was in for today because of this 23rd of August. It's a single match day as it sits now, but we're hoping it gets upgraded to a double match day, just as more fixtures and times and everything get ironed out. So we wanted a Valencia Dortmund player. I think Aston Villa and Everton play that day as well. But yeah, so we're pushing the trigger. We're pulling the trigger between pushing the button and pulling the trigger. So yeah, pushing the trigger, pulling the button on transactions as and when we diarise them for. Because with the exception of this Dubois one, the Munayer we were tracking, and we had Angelino and we were tracking Munayer, and when he dropped to the price he dropped to, I'm looking at the pair of them, they're both the same price basically. Angelino was a penny more expensive, but Munayer is much more likely to play more games, and with the stat increases, that I think he's greatly undervalued. But again, guys, we're studying the market, and when we notice things, we're making notes of it. We're sticking it in the diary, and then we're monitoring the situation. And as long as things kind of pan out the way we want them to, we are able to make the most of it. So the only players we don't have eligible for IPDs this month is Goretzka and Oblak, who we've held basically forever. We've managed to refresh Pepe, and then everyone else has been an in and out movement. The team is looking fresh. I'm really excited for the season coming up, guys. There was another thing. What was the other thing I wanted to touch on? Coleman, Pepe, the transfers. I think that might be all, guys, to be honest with you. But yeah, so we are now at this is it, guys. We're in the final furlong. If your portfolio is nowhere near match day ready, then I feel bad for you. It probably is. You might be close to it. Did somebody just buy Camarasa? Always takes my eye. 43p. And Alphonso Davies is looking good pre-season, isn't he? I'm not too sure how much he'll figure right enough, but he's been looking good. And I love looking at this little bar. Somebody's just sold some Kubo. They're obviously desperate for money. But yeah, it's not a surprise to me. There's lots of Lyon players popping today. And if you hadn't had this itemised, and you know, we've kind of dropped the ball a little bit on Dubois and Denier, and these kind of guys, if we're going to go for a defender, which we never really considered beforehand. But I say, it was just when I was looking at, oh, never knew that one. I unplugged from the Matrix yesterday. Skov has went to Hoffenheim. There you go. He could be dangerous. Keep your eye on that one. I unplugged from the Matrix yesterday. I just needed a break from everything, and that's probably why I've maybe missed that Dubois and, you know, that kind of Lyon window. So I was just focusing on the strikers and the midfielders, and it's hard to tell who their team's going to line up as being. But yeah, guys, I'm really interested to hear in the comments section below from you guys any experiences you've had similar, any double downs you've done, any Operation Comans that are in effect, who you're looking forward to seeing this coming month. And oh, that's the other thing, guys. That's the other thing, right? So we've bought Maxi Gomez. This is just an example, right? I might not do this. I might do this, but this is just letting you into the train of thought you need to have when you're trading on IPDs, okay? So we've bought Maxi Gomez today, which is a Thursday, right? We want to avoid purchases on Fridays as much as we can, because Friday is a real purchase day for a lot of folk, right? Whether at any time of the month. So what we've missed out on is we're missing out on Sunday. If you look at the first day, Sunday the 1st of September, we're missing out on that final match day for Maxi Gomez, okay? He plays on the 1st of September, but it expires on the 31st for IPDs for us. Now, you're buying players for IPDs. Now, in this initial month, we want all these players to rake in as many IPDs as possible, okay? But that's not the be-all and end-all of the strategy. We've then got that money as, like, banked. It's like the weakest link. We did a video on that kind of idea of that kind of train of thought before. But you're banking these IPDs, and then I might hold all these players for another 2 or 3 months and then sell them. The point of IPDs for me is to give you a great foundation of profit that's banked and reinvested elsewhere. And then when they earn IPDs again that you're not eligible for, you're in a fantastic position to sell, because you're then not worried about, oh, what if I miss out on that 2p tonight? Or, oh, maybe I should sell them tomorrow. That's the best time to do it. And it gives you a lot of indecision. When you have indecision, you will make mistakes. It's about being clear-cut and decisive. So I'm not bothered that I miss out on Gomez on that day there, because it might be a great opportunity for me to sell him if he does great on the 23rd, for example, or any other matches that Valencia have. Equally, similar story with Maddison, Muller, De Bruyne, Pjanic, Pepe, Munayer, anyone that just because the IPD expires on that day, it doesn't mean that's necessarily I'm going to sell them. The idea for me with IPDs, as I'll say again, is for you to bank money in the first 30 days you're holding somebody, and then if you want to sell them in 6 months time, in 2 days time, in a year's time, whatever, you've banked as many IPDs in that initial 30-day period as humanly possible. That's what it's all about, guys, you know, in terms of the IPD strategy. Because as long as they earn IPDs, there will be forever traffic moving towards them. People will always buy goal scorers and assist makers on a match day to try and manipulate and to take advantage of the system. You know, if somebody scores 2 goals and they're worth 70 pence, if you buy 100 of them, those IPDs guarantee you're breaking the commission barrier right away. And then if more people do the same thing and they go from being 70p to 75p, you wake up the next day, you've made just under 10% profit on the capital. We've also banked 2 pence a share, which is basically your commission. 1.4 pence would be your commission. You've banked that in the IPD, so you're then clean to sell, and your commission's really taken care of. Okay. Yeah, excellent, guys. I hope your month is laid out. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Thanks for tuning into the video today. Stay out of trouble, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.